We've got breaking news here on New York Giants now, as the Giants are sending a 7th-round pick and veteran defensive tackle Jordan Phillips to the Dallas Cowboys for a 6th-round pick. We've got a Giants-Cowboys trade. I feel like you don't ever see these things in the NFC East, especially with the New York Giants and the Cowboys. But the Giants, a team that probably wasn't going to keep Jordan Phillips on this roster, they are trading him to the Cowboys. They are turning him and a 7th-round pick into a 6th-round pick. And this is the type of move that you're going to see more and more as we get closer to that day where teams are going to be cutting down from 90 players to 53. Teams will always try to find a player that's on their roster bubble, pair them with a 7th-round pick, send them elsewhere or make calls elsewhere and see if they can get a 6th-round pick in return. We're going to start to see more of that. It's the first time we've seen it, and we are involved. The Giants sending Jordan Phillips and a 7th-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys for a 6th-round pick. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon and subscribe to the channel. We put out free, informative, entertaining updates every day on Big Blue. And when the Giants make a move, we make a video, no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. I was just beating Patrick Seatman in Madden. Had to hop off the game and come get you guys a video. So subscribe and turn your notifications on. Alrighty. What does this mean exactly for the Giants? One, this tells me that they are very confident in the defensive tackle room that they have right now. Also tells me that he was not going to make this team, which is actually kind of crazy, and I should probably go there first. Some people may be like, Marshall, who is Jordan Phillips? Remember, if you go back to free agency earlier this year, the Giants signed him to a 1-year, $1.7 million contract, including $430,000 in signing bonuses, and all of that was guaranteed. So $430,000 in guaranteed money. Not a lot. The Giants make a very small commitment with not much sacrifice on the back end, and ultimately they turn $1.7 million. Maybe it's only the guaranteed money at this point, but pretty much they turn a veteran minimum contract into a 6th-round pick by attaching a 7th-round pick. Tells me they didn't think he had that good of a camp, and other people impressed. But you don't really see people sign with the team and then not even play a game for him, and then they're traded. Kind of just a crazy trade overall. Jordan Phillips doesn't even play a game for the Giants. But once a Giant, always a Giant. Jordan Phillips not only a Giant, neither was Saquon Barkley. But that's another topic for another day. Phillips in a 7th. They go to the Cowboys for a 6th-round pick. Giants only committed $430,000 in guaranteed money, which means he was always going to be a long shot to make this team. And with this move, this tells me he was most likely not going to make it. That also lets me know that they are confident and other people have stepped up in camp. We know Dexter Lawrence is going to make this team. Rakeem Nunez-Rochez, I think, is pretty much a lock as well to make this team. So other guys that play that interior defensive line position that they're looking at. Do they think Boogie Basham, who mainly plays on the edge, can slide in a little bit? Not sure. Jordan Riley. Remember, he was a 7th-round pick last year out of Oregon. Played pretty well. People liked him. I thought he was more of a nose tackle, so could be a guy that could be a Dexter Lawrence backup guy. They have confidence in him. Elijah Chapman, the UDFA, smaller guy, just 6 foot, 280 pounds, but he is a pass rusher from that interior defensive line position and has impressed all offseason long, and he even made some plays against the Lions. He had 5 pressures in his snaps in that game, and he is impressing. And maybe he is a guy that's going to make this team that we didn't initially think he would when he signed that UDFA contract, which actually came like a couple of weeks after the other ones. What about Casey Rogers, the UDFA? Do they think he is someone that can contribute if he makes this team? DJ Davidson, you still got him, a 7th-round pick out of Arizona State, entering his 3rd season. Has flashed at times, hasn't put it all together, and he's dealt with some injuries. So is he going to be somebody they lean on? But you got Davidson, Rogers, Chapman, Riley, Rakeem Nunez-Rochez, and Dexter Lawrence, 6 guys, in my opinion, that can play that interior defensive line position. And I think they probably keep 4 of those guys with Lawrence, Nunez-Rochez, and it's going to be a fight between Riley, Chapman, and I'd probably say DJ Davidson. 2 of those 3 guys make it. If I had to give a prediction today, I'd probably go I think Chapman's going to make it. And I think it really is a toss-up between Riley and Davidson. I'll go Davidson to make it, but I could very easily see it being Jordan Riley as well. So you find a way to get a 6th-round pick out of a player that you were inevitably going to cut, you know what? That's a good move for Joe Schoen. I appreciate it. But I want to hear your one-word reaction in the comment section to this trade. One thing we like to do here at Chat Sports is audience interaction. I really pride myself on that. I'm always down in the comment section checking out your comments. And if you've tuned into one of our live shows, we're watching the chat always. So give me your one-word reaction to this trade down in the comment section. All right, what else does this mean for the Giants? They are now a team that's going to have just one 7th-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Here are their picks that they have. They have 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and they have a 5th also that's going to be coming to the Giants from the Seattle Seahawks. That was the last piece of that Leonard Williams trade. So you have a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 2 5ths. You also own a 7th-round pick that comes from the Buffalo Bills. I don't know which 7th-round pick the Giants are trading to the Cowboys, if it's the Bills or their own. I would assume it's probably the worst one of that deal. That is also the pick that comes from the Boogie Basham trade. So you essentially turn a 7th-round pick into a 6th-round pick. So you have a pick now in every single round. You didn't have a 6th-round pick before today, and you have 2 5ths, a 6th, and a 7th. And one thing that I do think, not that, adding a 6th-round pick to this is why they're doing this, but as we've seen, Joe Schoen has been pretty calculated in the trades he's made, and he's always cognizant of having draft capital. And if you are going to be in a spot potentially at the end of the season where Daniel Jones struggles, and you need to trade up in the NFL draft, maybe you're picking 6 and you want to get up to 2, you want to have draft picks, obviously more than a 6th-round pick, but as a GM, you're always thinking forward to that. Also, another thing that I think this means is that the Giants are going to lean more on younger guys this season. Phillips, 31 years old. I'm sure if you ask Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll on a lie detector, the hopes aren't that high for the Giants this year. And they would say that this year is more about development and seeing if guys can make plays that we've selected in the draft or added as a UDFA. And Phillips, a guy that's 31, best days are behind him, former 2nd-round pick, but been in the NFL for 10 years, right? So his best days are behind him. Does average play out of Jordan Phillips, and that's being nice to him, average play, does that help this team more now and in the future than seeing what a guy like Jordan Riley can do, or a guy like DJ Davidson can do, or a guy like Elijah Chapman can do? So I think Giants are looking towards a little bit more of a youth movement here. I think that's why we also haven't seen them go out and sign a veteran corner yet. Maybe that changes. I also think the Giants are going to be super active on the waiver wire. They'll have the 6th pick in that, or 6th selection, 6th claim is probably the right terminology there. It's a reverse order of the NFL draft, and I said it a couple times on the show, but if it's your first time tuning in, remember back in 2022, Joe Schoen claimed Jason Pinnock of the New York Jets, and he claimed Nick McLeod, and both those guys are now starters for this football team. Potentially McLeod is CB2, getting some reps there with Cordell Flott hurt. So with the Giants having a priority waiver claim, expect them to be a little bit more aggressive than they were last year. Maybe they walk away with a couple of players. But the reason for today's video, the Giants made a trade, Jordan Phillips and a 7th-round pick going to the Dallas Cowboys. A wild NFC East trade that comes out of nowhere, kind of random. Good move by Joe Schoen to get a pick back, though. They turned 7th and Phillips into a 6th-round pick. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon, subscribe. We'll be back on the channel tomorrow with multiple videos.